Very. Very. It is. You got wheels on the chair. It was there. I guess it was.
Okay. Council meeting of February 3rd, 2026 is now called to order. We are going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Okay, Mary, will you please do roll call?
Councilmember Flush.
Here.
Councilmember Stearns.
Here.
Councilmember Onisko.
Here.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Staff, I believe, is on Zoom.
Yep, I'm here.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Here.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
All right. Does council have any late changes to the agenda? All right, I don't see any. Do council members have a board report to share?
I do.
All right.
All right. Busy couple weeks for me. Let's see. I attended on the 21st, I attended the AWC Action Days in Lacey at St. Martin's College. Their priorities were public defense, transportation, revenue sharing, and housing supply. We discussed their city hot sheet, items of priority, other bills needing support, and also bills being opposed. An update comes out every Monday. We should get one.
Yeah, and I'll forward those out. If you don't see those, I'll make sure to forward those out on Friday.
My substituted for the deputy mayor and delivered a speech at Mason County Service Provider Summit Resource Fair also that day. I came back and I confirmed the AWC for a session on criminal justice. Multiple bills to look out for, especially HB 2489, which pretty much brings back Martin v. Boise. And almost it's the same exact form. If there are no beds available, public camping will be allowed on public property. So that's going to keep an eye out for. SB 6239, tort claims would give the city more liabilities, which would increase our insurance claims, according to PwC. HB 1529, which exempts the city from exempts cities from using county for road maintenance projects. We did that last year. It was like $180,000 project. It would have cost about $500,000, I think, to do that project last year with the county.
No, it was in the hundreds.
No. If we would have had to,
Oh, if we would have bid it out?
yeah, bid it out.
It would have been higher, but not extremely higher, maybe a factor 20-30%.
Okay.
So the other thing I'd like to note on that is that we didn't have full plans and specifications and bid packages, bid awards, bonding, inspectors, all of that, right? We had plans that we had and went to work, which was a huge time savings.
Cool. So that is under consideration that the AWC. while I was there, they knew that Mason County was, or actually, I think Dan Griffey was the supporter of that bill. They asked, they were getting a little pushback from the asphalt companies, and they asked what a good amount would be, so I got a hold of Jay, and Jay gave me an amount for them, and they were real happy with that. And then I guess, I attended Mason County Substance Abuse Coalition meeting as well. This 22nd had a full day in Lacey at the Action Days. Morning, we reviewed the city hot topics. We had a federal legislative update provided by somebody from the government. I forget what her name was. State forecast and budget overview presented. Obviously, none of it looks very good. So, 23rd, I participated in a Zoom meeting with Ben Johnson from Mason County Public Health, John Holbrook, the Safety and Security Director of Renton Schools, and Scott Walker to prepare for my testimony for the Washington State Senate on Kratom Bill 6196. That bill proposes a 95% tax and license requirement to sell kratom. I focus my testimony on just age restriction is where I think we need to go. Had a county briefing on the 26th. The commissioners had a briefing from Clean Water District Advisory Committee. It was about 30 minutes, very informational, interesting facts. Mason County is #1 in Washington State landings for shellfish. I had to look up landings, what that meant. It means how much we bring in. You can do that, Mark, right? Nationally, we're 5 out of 3,077 counties. There's 102 licensed companies in shellfish. It's the largest private employer. There's 27,000 acres approved for shellfish. 1,750 acres of water quality issues, and you can get 750,000 oysters in 1 acre. So I recommend watching that briefing. It was very informational. It talks a lot about water and, and our shellfish industry. My voice, sorry. Possible future partnership between Grace Harbor and Mason County 4-H. Kevin Schutte and Abe Carter talked about helping the community members get treatment with low barrier transportation to get the services. I testified for Kratom 6196. I supplied written comment for 2532 nitrous oxide bill that's out there. It's really exciting that there's so many bills out there for this. This is the first time that we've had bills. 27th, I attended the Mason County Board of Health meetings. Some takeaways were talked about code enforcement issues, reduced requirements for sewer drain fields for various reasons. There's been back to the committee for further clarification. It wasn't really clear what the goal was with smaller drain fields. I mentioned it last week, measles is 60 miles away. There's only 5 cases, and they're all linked to the 700 cases in South Carolina, and they want people, if you think you got measles, don't go to the emergency room, call first. So they, excuse me. And then if the governor's budget cuts of public health go through, it means jobs cuts for Mason County's public health, many other programs supported by the state health departments. The board authorized staff to draft resolutions and legislators for the board and members to sign, and that happened and recently that was sent out. I was also selected board chair, Mason County Board of Health for 26. We had a study session last Tuesday. 28th, I attended the Housing Behavioral Advisory Board. At a meeting with MACOM director, we went over future plans for this building, the new building, talked about budget issues, future infrastructure needs, just making sure we're up to speed. 29th, I had my session with Una. The 30th, I supplied written testimony for 6287 for Kratom, another bill for Kratom regulations I can testify about. I did testify on House Bill 2291 on Kratom regulations with age restriction. Unfortunately, we heard over the weekend that this was put on hold. Maybe it'll come back next year in 27. Caught up with people from the Point Time Count. I attended the resource fair downtown. The 31st, I attended the Habitat for Humanity house cleanup for 41, the one on Washington Street. After the construction, we all got the windows, mopped floors, and got ready. On the Sunday, the next day, we had the key dedication for the new owner of the house. Nice lady with 2 young kids. Habitat is in the process of closing 2 homes, one out at Shorecrest and this one here in town. That should get them back on track financially. When they get those houses closed, that will give them the cash flow they need to just start everything back up again. County briefing yesterday. But the county approved moving forward for funding for 3 years for transportation service treatment services that I mentioned earlier, that in the day before, for people who need to get services. The county public health brief, the county commission on housing, behavioral health advisory board funding priorities. Also added funding to some nonprofits to maintain service for rapid rehousing, eviction prevention, diversion, and maintaining level of service. I guess they used that out of reserves, but they had from went to Crossroads, so went to Youth Connect and other places. Oh, the county approved and okay, the county approved funding from County Matters in the Mason Health will pick up the difference. The flu has doubled in the last 2 weeks in our hospitals, so be aware it's out there. Public Works. He's gonna work on a sludge agreement with the city of Shelton again, it's that time. And they talked about Memorial Hall rates for in and out of county, people that's getting pretty busy over there, they said, so they need to kind of. We'll get back on it. The county's looking to increase salary of the chief public defender. It's been vacant for a year, so M will find anybody for that job, so they're going to increase that. And they had more talk at Brenton Sewer Extension yesterday for the MOU. Of understanding, looks like they might be moving forward with that. And I attended their finance committee meeting. County commission meeting today wasn't a whole lot. There was some discussion on code enforcement and compliance. And then let's get back to Kratom. Several cities are looking into complete bans on Kratom. Nothing happens in the session with Olympia, mainly Spokane and all the surrounding cities want to completely ban it. If nothing's going on. Late this afternoon, about 2 hours before this meeting, Senate Bill 6196, that when I testified on about taxing Kratom, that actually passed the Senate and is going to the House Ways and Means Committee. 6287 also is moving forward to the House Ways and Means Committee, and that one does include age restrictions, so that's wonderful. And then I think that's it. I'd like to say happy 37th birthday to my oldest son, Ryan. I know I only look 39, but he's 37. So that is my report.
Can I, point of clarification, thank you, Eric, for all the reporting back that you've done, and it's really helpful. I just want to make sure that when we're out there talking about items like Kratom, that you're speaking for yourself as a individual and not for the council as a whole.
Yeah, I'm
That's all.
speaking mostly for the Mason County Substance Abuse Coalition.
Okay,
And
thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have anything else to share? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as published? Right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. On to our business agenda. Public Works Director Jay Harris has information for us about the downtown street and sidewalk repair project. Public comment. Sorry about that. I totally skipped all that. My bad. I got excited. I was so excited about sidewalks. All right. The council invites the public to make comments on matters of city business. Comments shall be made to the entire council and not individual council members. Please refrain from any personal or disrespectful remarks that create disruptions during the meeting. If unreasonably disruptive conduct continues, you will be asked to leave the meeting. Mary, do we have anyone signed up to make a general public comment? Oh, okay. All right, so Public Works Director Jay Harris has information for us. See, I was so excited about the downtown street and sidewalk repair. I'm just really excited about this.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, Jay Harris, your Public Works Director. Public Works, in the last 3 years has been working on an in-house project design, led by me. It's taken a while, to prepare, plans and, specifications for removal of the street trees downtown that are pushing up the sidewalk. So, this is one of the plans. There's 25 plan sheets. It's actually a pretty detailed project when you really get into it. So every one of those trees up there, were inventoried. We had an arborist go through, and some are pushing up the sidewalk severely, which are the blue ones. That's what we call the base bid in the bid package. And then Schedule A are the moderate ones, so those are the green ones. And then we had Schedule B, which are starting to lift the sidewalks and will have to be dealt with in the future. For the last bunch of years, the trees are 20-something years old. For probably the last 10 years, Public Works has been doing a little bit of sidewalk replacement, but a lot of grinding. We've had quite a few trip and fall complaints over the roots pushing up the sidewalk. And so we got the project designed. We've had some open houses, some good public outreach. I spoke to you folks multiple times about this project. And the tree roots just can't be trimmed, because when you do that, because they are pushing up the walk, and that is one way. If they're not growing, they won't push it up anymore, but you affect the structural stability of the tree. Very potentially blow on over onto buildings and stuff. So the project is to take the trees out, to take the grates out, and to replace the ones shown up here on the map. And so we're going to be putting in a root barrier with the new trees. Since we're pulling up the concrete sidewalk, there's an angle iron frame in there that we're putting a new grate frame in, and then brand new grates on all of the trees also. And the reason is the existing grates, the holes are getting pretty big. Well, the trees are going to be smaller. We got 2 to 3 inch, maybe 3.5 inch trees to replace, 2 different varieties that are going in. The arborist has recommended those. They have very low impact, i.e. pushing roots up that would go under the pavement, under the curb, and under the sidewalk, right? So we think we have a very well-designed project. We're also holding the tree base down about 6 to 8 inches. So the grate, there'll be a little bit of airspace because the base of the tree is bigger. You want to cut round holes in the grates, not elliptical like you see now around, a root that offshoots and that sort of thing. So a lot of work has gone into this bid package and project. So we put out a bid package some weeks ago, about a month ago, and with the 3 different bid schedules, the engineer's estimate on it was $350,000 to $420,000, with base bid, Schedule A and Schedule B, with the goal of doing all 3 schedules. But we could remove Schedule B and just award the bid with the base bid and Schedule A, or just the base bid only if we're running short on money. That the $420,000 is our upper limit. We received 18 bids today on the project, which was really good news. The bid range was $254,000 to a little over $500,000 for all 3 schedules, which was good news. So 420 was the upper end of our estimate. And currently Diversified Holdings is the low bidder. We're checking all their submittals, checking their math, going through their whole bid package. They were the low bidder for all 3 schedules at $254,000. You might remember that name. They're the same people that are doing the police fencing parking lot. They're waiting for fencing to arrive for that, and they will be finished in that project in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe?
40 days.
Well, they have 40 days.
14 days.
Okay. So that project's going on, but you're going to see this other project pick up. The second bidder was Hanson Excavation at $313,000. So there was some room between the second bidder and the low bidder on this project. Most of the bids were in the higher $300,000 range, sort of in the engineer's estimate range. So we got a good engineer, an estimate on this project. That does touch a lot of properties. A lot of commercial property, a lot of people walking down the sidewalk, that sort of thing. We're highly cognizant of that. So what you're going to see moving forward is we're wrapping up paperwork with one of the contractors, either the low bidder. If that doesn't work out, we're going to go to the second bidder. And then we're going to get that in motion. We'll be doing some door hangers and some public outreach so people sort of know the starting date and sort of where they're going to start, how they're moving through this project. Public Works is going to be removing the existing trees. So the contractor is we're going to leave them like 3 foot high. but we're gonna actually take down the trees, branches, all of that. And obviously keep them off of buildings, that sort of thing. And we're not gonna remove them all at once. That came from, Aaron, was that a public meeting that we had, or was that council's? It was the public meeting where people didn't want to see all the trees cut at once. We're gonna stay ahead of the contractor on it, obviously. And so the goal is late spring, we have sidewalks and trees back in again. They're gonna be anchored, so the wind throw, as they get leaves on them, you don't want them to rock down the base. And should have the project done, what are we estimating? I didn't look at the schedule today. We have a very detailed schedule on this project.
90 days.
They have 90 days. It's gonna take us about a month to get it wrapped up. So we're right around the 120-day range, which is putting us right at about Forest Festival. So if they're not all done at Forest Festival time, they're gonna be near done. We'll make sure if the sidewalks are open, their machinery's out of the way, that sort of thing, so we can open this up for that event. That's the end of my report. So we're at the business session. We'd like to see moving this forward to the action agenda to be heard at your February 17th meeting.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move to place downtown street tree and sidewalk repair project award. Action agenda for the February 17th, 2026 council meeting for consideration.
Second. All right, council members, do you have any questions or comments?
Comment, I know it's a silly comment, but
Mhm.
so it's a little bit cheaper than we thought. So like, is there maybe a possibility of putting bump outs in some of these corners, 18 and 19, 21, 20, 21 and a half, 17 and 15, where we can maybe slow traffic down, a little bump out, people to stand on when they're gonna cross the street. I mean, I know you're gonna say, oh, talk to that.
No, they call that
I've seen-
Harris
I've seen those.
scope creep is what they normally call it. So. We'll call it the Nisco scope creep.
I mean, I was thinking just like I'm downtown a lot and people just don't stop. I mean, you could be 4, 5 feet out in the middle of the road and they're just still plowing down the road. And I thought it just sounded.
So there is a crossing going in, another flashing crossing at Third is where it's currently proposed that we have funding for, which will help in terms, because when those lights go off, the flashing beacons, they get my attention. They're pretty darn good. So that will help to give a safer crossing at that location. But I mean, council.
I think there's bulb outs at most every of those crossings.
Some of
That from Second to
Not
7.
far enough out, but yeah.
Yeah, you start restricting, especially on the side streets, the street width itself, the travel lanes.
The cars have to come around the corner
Yeah.
and you have to have the proper turning radius for like a U-Haul truck. You shouldn't have any semis going around those corners, right? But the larger vehicles, that could be Brent and his RV trailer, or you don't even have one, do you? You don't, there you go. But they don't have super good turning radiuses. Those are probably pulled back to allow the cars around the corner.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Try to slow traffic down there. I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to discuss how to slow traffic down on the railroad because semis are doing 40 miles an hour on the railroad. So, but yeah, there's a thought.
I noticed all the markings on the sidewalks, the highlighted paint. It looks like since the rain started, it's even gotten a little worse. I don't know if it's the water getting in there and they're popping up a little higher, but maybe it's just being highlighted by the paint. But I mean, we really, if someone's kind of scooching along and not picking up their feet, it is a little bit dangerous. So I'm glad that we're working on this and I'm glad that it's marked out well. And I'm really looking forward. We've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years now. We're finally gonna start work on it. So that I'm excited about it.
Anyone else? All right. We have a motion and a second to place downtown tree and sidewalk repair project under the council's action agenda for further consideration at the February 17th, 2026 meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries. Okay, we're on to, we are doing board council reports and committee assignments. Mary, will you please present the?
The city manager.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Turnabout is fair play, right, Mary? As Mary took this last week, I'm sorry, I'm getting to the agenda item. So, as discussed at the last meeting, council, new assignments at the start of the year and it has been updated in your packets. The only thing I wanted to address is the alternates that were discussed last week. That really depends on the boards and the committees themselves and their bylaws, whether they have alternates placed in there. So I think it's certainly a valuable exercise to talk about these alternates and it's valuable to, I think, have somebody identified within the council. But I'll leave it up to the council members that are placed on these boards and committees to bring it up to that committee within those discussions, whether those bylaws contain language that would recognize an alternate from the city council, or if they would like to alter their bylaws to recognize that alternate in the future. So if you don't mind, I'll leave that up to you and your representation on the committees. Other than that, there's no changes from 2 weeks ago.
All right. Has anyone signed up for public comment on that?
We don't.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Ms. Mayor, move to adopt the updated list of the council board and committee assignments as presented.
Second. All right. Council members, do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, good. I am looking forward to hearing back from everybody about their secondaries and seeing how they feel about that. And we have a motion and a second to approve the council boards and committee assignments as presented. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, and we have moved on to resolution number 1427. Aaron will now discuss the railroad crossing design services.
Thank you, Mayor,
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, Council, thank you for your time. Not a lot of discussion on this. We discussed this at your last meeting. If you recall, we got a federal grant in order to remove the railways that cross 3 locations here in the city. We are proceeding with design. We're currently have 30% design. We're about ready to hit 50. As we were scoping this project, initially, we didn't believe that we were gonna have right-of-way issues. As the survey unfolded, it was identified that one of the poles, the old historical rail poles with the flashing beacons, is actually located on SPSI property. So that requires us to go through a formal right-of-way procedure, which we're trying to get through and make happen. With that, obviously, there was some additional surveying and work that was needed in order to bring up an agreement forward, pay for the construction easement, and then proceed, get it certified, and then proceed with the work. That wasn't scoped originally. Originally, we had scoped about 181,000 for the complete design and specifications. We needed to add a little bit more money, about 24,000, for a total of $206,416 to compensate for that right-of-way piece. The idea is we're going to take it out of the grant. We will front this money with regard to this, but we will see the same amount of money from a construction perspective. So we do have to bring a little bit, but understand this is a $600,000 project, of which we're supplying, in essence, $24,000. So what I'm asking for is that the council please consider approving this supplement. What this will do, this will allow me to go back to local programs, tell them that our council has approved it and we need to move forward. Because the reality is this is old money and this will get constructed this summer, is my desire, if you approve it. So, but we gotta get through this and get it done. This project's been on for a long time. So with that, happy to answer questions, you guys. In addition, so in essence, what we're doing is we're adding about $24,000 to the design contract to deal with the right-of-way issue and allow us to proceed to construction.
Has anyone signed up for public comment?
We don't have it.
All right, can we get a reading of resolution number 1427-0126?
Resolution number 1427-0126. A resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington, allowing the city manager to agree to supplement one to agreement number 25-002 PSA with Purty Inc. for a design contract adjustment for continued professional services work on the railroad crossing closing project once the supplement is approved by Waukesha Local.
A mouthful. Do we have a motion?
Ms. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 1427-0126 as presented.
Right. And council members, do you have any questions or comments on that?
Just as part of the Shelton Metropolitan Parks District, we're so looking forward to adding this to our city through the center of our downtown, connecting all our parks, making the city a more walkable place. And when we get the downtown tree situation finished too, it's gonna be even a more walkable, enjoyable place to live and walk and enjoy. So thank you so much for pushing us forward. Ever since I moved here 12 years ago, I thought walking these rails would be a great trail, and now we're making it happen. And it's gonna make a better life for everyone here in Shelton.
Appreciate that. And I agree. Thank you.
All right. So anyone else? We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 1427-0126 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. Wow, and cruising right along, we are now on to the city manager report.
Couple things, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council, happy to be back. Well rested, a little bit of a cold, so excuse me, I'm not coughing and nasal voice. A couple things for you tonight. The city's been awarded a Connecting Housing Infrastructure Program grant that actually, frankly, the Shelton Youth Connect did most of the work on, but applied for on behalf of the city of Shelton to extend a water main to their property at 127 South Second, so they can continue with the construction of their housing project down there. So we're happy that we could be a partner in that. They'll also add needed infrastructure on Second Street, frankly, which is I forget, it's a small copper line that feeds that, so they wouldn't have capacity for fire flow and even domestic needs they have there. So we'll have that grant agreement coming forward here in the near future, execute that fully, and I believe with the additional funding Shelton Youth Connect recently received, they'll be able to continue with construction this year, which is good news.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that in my briefing. She did brief the county commissioners today on their 100% fully funded for their entire operation, and thank the city, the county, and everybody for working with them and stuff done. So mention that later.
Terrific. Councilmember Nisco mentioned a few of the legislative bills. Troy Nichols, our government affairs consultant, has been sending regular updates. I'll be forwarding those to you so you can track some of the bills. We're hitting, I believe it's tomorrow, hitting the cutoff for new bills. Some of the fiscal bills are still have some time until next week. But you know, this session's moving maybe not as quickly as Councilmember Gilmore wants, but it's moving fairly quickly. I'm working with Mr. Nichols to make an in-person visit next week and pull our delegates off the floor for a few minutes. Our capital requests for the Mountain View Reservoir is in place. We also have the request for transferring the existing funds that we have for the intersection improvements at Wallace and Springs to Wallace and Olympic Highway North, and continuing discussions with WashDOT, since that's a WashDOT controlled intersection, for improvements there to assist in mobility, tie into the Olympic Highway North improvements that are coming up over the next year. And then hopefully maybe encourage some development across the highway there, because it would be less of an impact, traffic impact and traffic mitigation that might have to occur across Wallace, across Highway 101. So that's the intent of some of those visits next week, and I'll certainly forward those opportunities to you if you're able to jump over there to Olympia for a few minutes. We'd love to have you over there, and it's literally a few minutes bringing them off the floor, since really last week during, or 2 weeks ago now, isn't it? During action days, it's just really kind of early in the session to get much done, and they can't provide much input at that point, but how the bills are progressing through committee at that point. We certainly have some more details on that. that's occurring now too, so. And that concludes my report for you this evening.
Thank you. Do we have any new items to discuss?
Just wanted to ask Margaret if you had a good time in Mexico.
Nope.
Terrible time, huh? Well, then I guess you don't have to go again, right? Right, terrible. All right, so our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 at 6 p.m. right here in this very room. We also have a study session on February 10th at 6 p.m. And unless anybody is opposed, this meeting is adjourned at 6:33 p.m.
2 minutes.
Oh, well, you can talk loud.
Yeah, no, I said 35.
Oh, okay.
No.
And you said
I mean,
30?
actually,
Yeah, I
that
said
clock,
30.
You were under, he was over technically. Right, now you get to spin the wheel.
Eric did his best to make it go long.
You got, he did, really did.
But does he have the over on that?
They're trying to. Got it.
I've been trained that.
Yeah.
It could be a clerk.
He's a good helper.
Be my retirement.
If he decides not to be the clerk, he will do that.
Okay. I don't got it. You didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.